What in the heck is wrong with some people? Why do I ask? Let me explain. I still remember that sun-kissed Tuesday when the events took an unexpected turn. I'd been buried under layers of auto shop grease and dirt all morning and was eager to rinse off the grime. My battered old pickup was a reliable beast but gathered dust like a museum artifact. During my lunch break, I decided to pull into Mr. Suds, the local automatic car wash that was a popular stop for the town's vehicles. The line was longer than I'd seen it in a while. It was a beautiful day, the kind of bright summer afternoon that inspires one to clean their car, I guess. Nestled between an old minivan and a sleek high-end SUV, I sat waiting my turn. I remember the SUV vividly. The sunlight bounced off its polished surface, making it stand out against the sea of regular everyday vehicles. It all happened so fast. The SUV smoothly drove onto the conveyor belt, and the first cycle of the wash began. Suddenly, the woman in the SUV jerked her head around, her eyes as wide as saucers. My brows furrowed in confusion. She seemed to be looking directly at me. My old truck sat still, guiltless and idle, but the woman was out of her car, striding towards me with a fiery determination. I could almost feel the heat of her indignation. "You hit my car!" she hollered, her voice piercing the afternoon calm. I shook my head vigorously, my words failing to form amidst the unexpected accusations. I had been sitting still, waiting for my turn, but she didn't seem to register my denial. My assurances fell on deaf ears as she launched into a soliloquy about her new, pristine SUV and the audacity of drivers these days. I stepped out, deciding it was time to quell her fears with concrete evidence. Both vehicles were still in pristine condition. There was no scuff on her bumper, no dent, and certainly no sign of my truck making any contact. I tried to explain the jolt she felt was likely due to the tire shine brushes making contact with her wheels, but she was beyond the point of rational discourse. "Stop lying," she retorted, jabbing a finger at me. To my absolute shock, she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. The serene afternoon had swiftly morphed into an episode of a reality TV show. I was being accused of a crime I hadn't committed, in the middle of a car wash, no less. And all I had hoped for was a quick vehicle cleanup and a peaceful lunch. As the woman ranted on the phone, I found myself dialing my own number. My boss was understanding, but there was a hint of amusement in his voice. "You better sort this out quick, Jim. The Chevy's on your workbench and she needs her carburetor cleaned before sundown." When the police arrived, they surveyed the scene with a mix of bewilderment and stoicism, the kind of expression you'd expect from men who've seen their fair share of bizarre situations. The younger cop scribbled in his notebook as the SUV owner bombarded them with her version of events, while his older partner, a weathered man with a graying mustache, calmly walked over to inspect our vehicles. "Ma'am, I can't see any damage on either vehicle," the older officer finally said, his voice as calm as the sea before a storm. But her indignation wouldn't be quelled so easily. "I want to see the surveillance video," she demanded, turning her attention to the visibly overwhelmed car wash manager. Now the entire car wash operation had to be put on hold as we waited for the footage. The delay was significant. Each passing minute felt like a blow to my wallet as my lunch break turned into an unforeseen ordeal. The car wash line started to pile up as word spread, and onlookers gathered, drawn by the prospect of unexpected drama. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The security footage played, showing a clear view of the SUV entering the car wash. As I pointed out, the tire shine brushes squeezed in on her tires, causing a small jolt. I could feel a wave of relief wash over me, but this was short-lived. The lady was unyielding in her conviction. Even as the evidence debunked her claim, she continued her tirade, now threatening to sue the car wash for the imagined damages to her SUV, and oddly enough, her emotional distress. I was allowed to leave the scene finally. I thanked the officers, knowing that they had to deal with the aftermath of this absurd spectacle. As I got back into my truck, I looked into my rearview mirror. The woman was still there, her animated gestures painting a picture of unrelenting resolve. On the drive back to the workshop, I mulled over the day's events. The sandwich I'd planned to enjoy sat untouched on the passenger seat, my appetite lost in the chaos. It was astonishing how a regular day could turn into a circus show, all due to a slight misunderstanding. The world, I realized, is filled with all sorts of people. Some are like my truck, old and reliable, sticking to their path with an unwavering determination. Others are more like that woman's SUV, shiny on the surface but sensitive to the slightest jolt. My time away from work cost me an hour and a half worth of pay, As I reflected on the incident, I couldn't help but realize the importance of patience and understanding. Every individual perceives the world differently, I suppose, and sometimes those perceptions can lead to an avalanche of unforeseen consequences. We're all just living our lives, doing our best to make it through another day, but every once in a while we encounter a curveball that sends us off track. But that's life, I suppose. Unpredictable, a little absurd, and never lacking in surprises. With a sigh, I returned to the reality of my waiting workbench, the greasy Chevy, and the still uneaten sandwich. Sheesh, what a ridiculous lady. Maybe she has been duped before or something and was just super defensive. Or perhaps she is just an unreasonable jerk. What do you think, and would you have done in this situation? Let us know in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.